Operation help. Everyone feels safe. Choose a participant. Getting some kind of information here about what not to say so that I can continue to be live on YouTube. Choose who can participate, set a delay, blah, 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 hide and dot, yeah, whatever. I don't need that. So, I was doing comic book dreaming like almost every day for a while, and I abruptly stopped. So, many of you must be wondering, what happened? What happened to Don? Did they get him? No, they didn't get me. So that's the good news. Why is it that when there's something I need, I see it, and 10 seconds later it's not there anymore? Does that happen to you? Because that's freaking annoying. I'm like, oh yeah, well there's that one thing I'm going to need in a minute. And look back, gone. So, improvise. That's life, right? Yeah, and there you go. So where was I? What happened? Well, a couple things. I'm putting out a new book. How you like them apples? So yeah, I just sort of stopped what I was doing here to format all the pages of my new book. It is called Imperium Calling, the Art and Poetry of Donald Kent. And I have a publisher who is putting that together for me. I think what's important for people in the so-called dissident right, that we have publishers and means to put our media out without censorship. As you guys know, there's always blue meanies out there who don't want you to say the truth, and they're going to find any way to stop you. They're going to report you for saying stuff that they don't agree with. So I've got my own publisher. Happens to be a good friend. And there's some interesting mystery here. He's I guess I probably shouldn't say anything about him, but I'll just say that I'm very comfortable with the setup, the situation. The book will be on Amazon. I'm hoping by the end of this week. And he knows I'm pretty anxious to get this book out there. It's essentially a collection of my fine art, my poetry, my comics, and my illustration work. So my illustration work, I think, is something of interest for people in the dissident right, the white positive sphere, because I've done a lot of freelance for a lot of people in our sphere. And that's been not only a joy, but something I'm deeply proud of. And so I'll be sharing a lot of that in that section. Each section of the book, well, it starts off with an acknowledgement, dedication. You know, I kind of tip my hat and say thank you to the people that have influenced me and supported me over the years. And of course, there's really, you can never do that completely because there's just been so many, and you're always terrified that, oh God, did I forget that one person? you know, or there might be somebody that helped you a while ago. You know, see, all I'm looking for is a damn straight ruler. I've got every kind of ruler, but not the one that I need. Oh, there it is. Okay. So yeah, you know, there's people that reach out to me. I can't take all the freelance work that I'm offered, and I wish I could. I even get kind of weirdo scammers too that are sort of like, who are you really? You know, like what are you really up to here? Are you trying to get you think you're going to get my financial information or something? Like, what's going on? So you do have to watch it. You got to sort of be careful, sort of guard yourself. I'm going to check and see if there's anybody in the chat. Say hi. Sorry, it's been such a long time since I've been offline here. Let's see who we got. Crusader, my trustworthy friend there. Crusader, hey, yeah, thought the feds got you, no kidding. Monaghan boys here. I see you a lot on Facebook, which is really cool. I enjoy your posts a lot. Yeah, well, so you guys probably know I'm on Twitter, at Amerizera, I kind of ditched the American Zarathustra thing, reinventing myself after my mom passed. I've been going through a lot of changes, But anyway, and so Donald Kent Art is the name or the program or the branding, however you want to call it. So if you're on Twitter and you see me there, then I'm still around. Got a number of life challenges that people usually have. In this world, we have a lot we've got to do. There's a ton of stuff going on in my life at the moment, so that's a huge part of it. But the primary deal is that I took a break from all of this so that I could get my book pages formatted. There's like 95 pages in this book, so that's 95 pages of art, poetry, illustration, graphic design. As I mentioned, or as I was going to mention, every chapter has a little foreword or a little or sort of intro bit to it where I try to make a few statements and make some content or context to what it is I'm doing. I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, frankly, that people who are not in our sphere are going to come across the book, and that, see, like, we're so ghosted, we're so aggressively ghosted from the mainstream media that normal people don't know who we are. I mean, we're obviously, like, what's the word? Demonized. We're mainstream people are told what we are, but yet not a single one of them will come and ask us to represent ourselves and share our talking points or what have you. It's like, oh well, and NBC told me what to think, or CNN told me what to think, or Fox News told me what to think. Anyway, so this book is something I've wanted to put out for a long time. It's just, you've got those things in your life where you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to that thing, and one of these days I'm going to get to that thing, and da-da-da-da. And so I finally thought, you know what, I got some major life events coming up soon, and I really want to get this done and out of the way. If I'm, who knows, if I'm not around anymore or whatever, I want to make sure that there's like a document that, showed I lived and that I produced these things. So that's kind of the gist of it. And it's not like crazy complicated. I think anybody who knows me and is familiar with my work, you're going to see a lot of stuff that you've seen already, I wouldn't say that it's like, that there's anything really, really newish about it. It doesn't sound good. The what's new about it, I suppose, is the graphic design I did on the poetry pages. So it's not just poetry, it has some kind of beautiful graphics to kind of fill in the page. It's not just a blank, sterile white page, And not only that, not all of the art and poetry is sort of about white identity, white politics. Some of it's just me, it's just my experience, my life. There's a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of romance, a little bit of personal tragedy. I'm an artist, and that's that. So there you go. So I feel like it's a pretty well-rounded book. I suppose it's going to shock a lot of people that white identitarians are actually human beings with feelings and creativity and culture. That's really going to shock some people out there. They'll be like, but CNN told me you were a monster. So how is it that you can be so sensitive and eloquent and artistic, and how can you it's going to be a lot of cognitive dissonance for those folks. But they'll get through it. You know what? They'll get through it, and they'll grow up a little bit as a result, and hopefully be more enriched as a result. So I'm excited. And then it's occurred to me, like, what? Maybe I'll keep putting books out. Maybe because I've got this set up with this publisher. Like I said, he's a friend of mine. And there's this mad benefits working with this dude. He's just crazy cool. The people who want to shut me down or whatever are not going to be able to figure out who the publisher is or where he is or what he is or any of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of space in between what he does and what I do. So he's safe from that. But I mean, I've even got a disclaimer in the beginning of the book saying, that, the works in here in no way, shape, or form are meant to incite violence or unlawfulness or any of that kind of garbage. This is actually the white positive movement is a human rights movement. It's a human rights movement, if you really look at it, from any other standard. If white people were Tibetans or Somalis or Rwandans, I should say, or Native Americans, we would be, our situation and everything that we're going through would be looked upon with there would be massive rock concerts with everybody saying, "Oh, we've got to save the whites. Save the whites. We've got to come together. Save Western civilization. Send your donations to 1-800 Elon Musk." Anyway, I pick on Elon Musk a little bit because I love him. No, I don't hate him. I'm kidding around, but I'm kind of going through a bit of a Musk phase right now, where I'm sort of figuring out that his mom is Jewish, and that there's this thing going on where everything that we are meant to believe or trust is actually controlled opposition. That people are put into place who go against the so-called narratives, etc., yada yada. But it's a sort of a caducean, maybe. I mean, there's really nothing. If it's mainstream, it's on TV. It's like something that mass amounts of people can know about. Then it's controlled opposition. It's only the underground is really where things are real and true. And we're the underground. I mean, we don't have Hollywood dollars to make culture and movies and Netflix and buy off politicians and yada yada yada. But I've just come to really think that, like, I don't want to say like trust no one, obviously we trust our guys and our movement, our people, yada yada, but people who are kind of, you know, big name people out there. And if they're coming along and sort of saying our talking points out of nowhere, I would be very suspicious of it. I just feel as if like the whole thing is just all rigged. You know, like they know better. They're always, always, always going to infiltrate. They're always, always, always going to do that. It's their nature. It's the way it works. It's the way the whole thing works. So it's just astonishing how deep the infiltration goes, how bad it is, frankly. You get these little like, oh, you know, Musk, free speech, Twitter, yay, people getting their accounts back, and oh, happy times, you know. But actually, there's other things afoot. So I won't go too crazy on that topic. I think it's more of a panel discussion kind of topic. I think, you know, would be good to get some people into that subject. But you know, we all have our friends that we like send articles to and memes to and stuff, and you know, there's different tiers of friends where it's like, okay, this guy is really sensitive about this one issue, so I can't talk to him about that, or you know, and you're kind of careful who gets what memes, you know, or whatever. That can backfire sometimes. But I've got a Christian friend who's just hates when I show him anything about Jewish power, and he's always, those aren't the real Jews and stuff, and I'm like, you may be right, you know, in terms of like actual historic and ethnic roots, and you know what he's referring to the Bible and the Khazarian mafia and da 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 da. You know, like it's very murky stuff, which most of us know about. But to me, it's like you're not getting it. You know, I mean, it's like you're I don't know. So like I have to kind of like watch what I say about whatever with him. And where am I going with this? So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, even some of my most based friends are like, you know, I'll show them something about, oh yeah, this thing that we used to believe in. Well, no, it's a psyop. And they're like, God, I can't, you know, like, it's just, can we trust anything? Can we believe in anything in terms of like what's happening out there? You know, for a hot minute, I was interested in Kennedy and his announcing that he's running for president. I followed him a lot during the COVID time and everything he had to say. And I was very, very impressed with how outspoken and well researched he was. And so I thought, yeah, this guy could be our guy. This could be the Joker or the wild card or whatever, and this could work. And I'm gonna get all excited about it, you know. And then somebody posts like a video of him some years ago, and he's talking. What did he say? People who deny, what was it? People who deny global warming should be thrown in jail. Ha! Oh, whoa, you know. And then another thing where he had he held a dinner for some, like, people that I if I don't have the story in front of me, I can't remember it. I don't have a photographic memory. But they're either politicians or some kind of big-wing family from Israel, and it just essentially exposed him as being, you know, a full-on supporter of Zionism. And I was like, that's over. Turn that off. You know, forget about that. That's done. You know, it's not like copium per se. It's not like one of those things where you're hanging on to something that is not true or not going to come true. Something. It's not that kind of thing. Rather, you see something new and you're like, oh, maybe this is it. You know. Let's check the chat here a little bit. Hey, Nullis is here. Thanks so much for joining. Yeah, Telegram, man. That's kind of my main squeeze. Like, you know, Twitter. I'm getting to the point where I don't know. It's like I think I'm getting all twittered out. I'm getting twatted out, I guess. Like, maybe I need to unfollow people or something that maybe have kind of lame takes or are like posting lame crap that's just like, ugh, this is just noise. It's just shit I already know, or um, and it's just like mental garbage. I don't know what else to call it. You know, it's clutter. Yeah, clutter is essentially kind of what I'm talking about. Um, I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and like unfollow a ton of people. There was a while there where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna follow more kind of like Republican normie type folks and try to get a beat or a pulse on what they're thinking and doing, and that'll help me kind of sort of get a sense of where things are going, you know, in the country or this or that. And then you just get these very, very low IQ takes on a lot of different stuff that's just, ugh, you know, that's where I'm like, I guess, you know, I'd like Twitter to be, it has been a place where like there's like a lot of elite posters there. You know, I guess by elite I would say that people that are really, really based, really, really smart, and really, really plugged in many different kind of ways. Like they know a lot about specific areas that all kind of tie together in this giant map of what is the dissident, right, etc. You know, and so I'm enriched by them. I learn and grow by them. So that's certainly, you know, a huge deal. I want that. You know, but yeah. So whatever. And then also I was just watching like what was it? Some Netflix. You know, you get off work and you're like, I just want to relax. You know, I just want to decompress. And I there was some kind of like, you know, new movie trailers coming out, and the new movie. I'm not gonna go into what it was, like the name of the movie or whatever, but excuse me. It was so it was like next level degenerate. It had this kind of like dominatrix woman in it, and I was just like, I'm. I think I'm really just gonna have to stop watching TV, like totally. You know, like what's in there. You know, what is in there that's of any value for us, that is not like going farther and farther and farther down the hole of like how sick and twisted can we get, how offensive and it's always sexual. Obviously, it's always some kind of dark, weird sex shit. Um, I don't know. It's tough because you want to watch, you want to chill, you want to relax, but somehow they always find a way to shove that shit in your face. So I don't know. It's tough. It's kind of like you have to. I don't know. You have to kind of like have a thick skin or a mental button that turns off when that propaganda comes on. You know. I actually turn the sound off on TV when the commercials come on. I hit the sound button like stat. You know, that shit off. So I'm going dancing in like an hour or something. I'm gonna go out tonight, shake my booty, and hang out with some cute little girls. Young girls, not little girls. Don't be a fucking lefty. Um, and have a good time. I gotta get out. All work and no play makes Donald a dull boy. So I'm gonna go do a little. Hence the kind of house music background thing here, which I could actually turn off if you guys find that annoying. But yeah, I miss these sessions. They've been a lot of fun. Um, I have kind of forgotten how hard it is to talk and ink at the same time. Well, it takes a lot of concentration. But we got a couple more people here. Well, we have 4 thumbs up. So I don't know, say hi, introduce yourself. Um, so I came across another new candidate, a guy by the name of Robbie Wells. Robbie Wells. And so I'm like, if you're running for president, maybe you should use Robert instead of Robbie, you know. But hey, that's me. So, anyway, I have to admit, I was fairly impressed with his speeches and some of his ideas. Now, I just made a statement about how I don't like how everything's kind of a psyop, you know, everything is like a trick per se, you know, to get us to buy into something or who knows, you know, this, that, and the other thing. Um, and I thought, well, okay, I'm digging some of the things this guy's saying. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a chance. Listen, you know, I shared it on Twitter last night, and our folks are very, very black-pilled. We're very, very suspicious. We just, you know, it's who we are. It's what we are, and that kind of, I think that's a bias. I don't think that's a good thing. I think we should, you know, it's good to be critical, but not like straight out of the gate. You know, oh, it looks like this, and then I just write it off. That's anti-intellectual. You got to look at what it is and give it a minute. You know, like give it a minute of your time, and you know, feel your way through it a bit. So. This guy's talking about essentially ending the presidency as an institution, you know, like completely rewriting essentially politics in America and for the world, because he's got like this bigger vision. And, you know, so I went on, I went on, and I did more research on it, we'll just say. And I discovered a couple things that I thought, no, you know, this stuff I like. This other stuff is just repackaged communism. You know, it's just you're saying things that sound nice, but to the average retard, like those ideas sound great. You know, but I'm in a different class here, so I made comments on his videos, like, you know, just pretty much what I said, you know, like this is just repackaged communism, like tell me how blah 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 blah, blah whatever, you know. I should actually, well, I suppose if you go to YouTube and you look up Robbie Wells, say I forget which speech it was that I commented on, but I was really proud of myself, and the things that I said were so smart. Anyway, I'm curious to see where it goes. But then, like I said, I did more research, and he's got this really, really well-financed kind of program with all these international sort of actors that, like, you know, come on screen and say, you know, this is our economic program, or this is our environmental program, or this is that. And a lot of them have Russian accents. I thought, that's pretty curious. If you're running for president, why are many of your actors in these commercials Russian? I mean, I'm assuming they're Russian. I think they're Russian. You know, that sounded like a Russian accent. You can't hide that thick Eastern European kind of. There's just, you know what I'm trying to talk about here. So there's a couple sus things going on here. Very interested. I suppose the way that the elites have it, though, is that, you know, they want to take down Trump. They want to install DeSantis. I don't think the Democrat Party has a shot. I think the idea of Joe Biden running for president is the fucking dumbest bullshit in. I mean, on what planet does that? It's crazy. It's insane. Like, but I mean, democracy is a joke. The country is broken. Everything is beyond fucked. Why not? Fuck it. Why not? Let's just have more clown show. It's just, you know, it's just like something to keep the TV on. So that like these channels can have, you know, bills coming in or checks coming in from people who are paying for their TVs or whatever. But I mean, to my knowledge, a lot of Democrats have even like, they know that it's fucked and it's just horseshit, and they've kind of realized that it's been a deafening silence, hasn't it? The whole like years of like psychotically hating Trump, Biden steals the election, and then suddenly dead silence. It's like, what you doing over there? I'm nothing. I'm just hanging around. Like they don't like no, they won't defend him. You know what I mean? I mean, only the people who are getting paid or like people who are like desperately retarded would defend him. But yeah, it's just so stupid right now. Anyway, check out Robbie Wells. Look up some of his speeches. He's like a Southerner. He has like a sports background. I guess he previously ran under like there was a time when he ran under like a Democrat Party, and there was another time when he ran under like the Constitution Party. And some, I forget the other, it was another independent party, I forget the kind, but there's some good ideas in there. I'm not gonna lie. You really want it to be true. It's that kind of a situation. Some of it, I think that like, how do I say, like, if you're trying to appeal to both Republicans and Democrats, you've got to talk out of two sides of your mouth. Like one side is all like freedom and the Constitution, and then the other side is all equality and the environment. You know what I mean? It's like Democrats, they like emotional vote. That there should be a word, emotion voting. You know what I mean? Like shit posting or something. They vote off of like hatred for Trump. Like that's like, I hate him so much. I'll vote for Satan, but just not Trump. Like that. Total, like, people like that shouldn't be allowed to vote. It's just fucking obvious. It's just as clear as it can be. But anyway, let's see if you guys have anything to say up here. I'm gonna take a quick look. Jimmy, the Italian. Hey, how you doing, Jimmy? Good to have you here, bro. All right, good evening, good evening. Let's see what's going on in the chat. What's a bias? To think too much. Like, let's say if I'm Italian and my mom makes great Italian spaghetti, and I go to an Italian restaurant, I'm going to say, this spaghetti is horrible. My mom makes a better one. I'm biased because she's my mom, Solar Temple's here. Hey, welcome. Let's see what else is shaking here. I didn't catch the whole conversation. How are you doing? Holding up well, American Zarathustra. I'm trying. I got some heavy stuff going on in my personal life, but I may or may not talk about that. Nullis says Ross Perot was the last genuinely interesting presidential candidate. I can't disagree with that. He was an interesting guy. Texas, I believe. Let's see. Solar Temple says great energy captured in that explosion you're inking. Well, why? Thank you. I can actually zoom in. I think that would make this maybe a little more interesting to look at. You can see a little scene over here. This is the the bad guy, and he's drinking the blood of this child here. That it's just to show like how horrible he is, as the bad guy in this story. Anyway, back to the chat. Great. Jimmy says, I didn't hear what you were saying is biased. Oh. Like, and here I am. Well, let me explain the word bias to you, Jim. Let me get my dictionary out. And I've forgotten. Maybe somebody in the chat remembers. I forgot already. But for the record, we all have biases. Absolutely true. Not all biases are dehumanizing nor lacking in merit. I strongly agree. And there you go. So, Robbie Wells. Well. It'll be interesting to see that. So, the point I was trying to get at, though, is that this Robbie Wells guy, whatever his ideas are, however much money he has, I'm going to lose my camera. He won't be allowed in the conversation unless, the Jewish oligarchy lets him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. That's how it works. You don't get to be in the show. You don't get to be on stage unless they say you can. I think that everybody thought Trump was, in 2016, they thought it was like, sort of like for entertainment. I literally did. I thought, when I saw him come out, during the debates, I thought, oh, this is going to be funny. I just thought it's some rich guy having a lark. It'll just make this interesting, but then we'll go back to regular politics. And it's not how it went. I don't know. I don't know, obviously everything about the way politics works, but I would say this is generally what I believe, though, that you're only allowed to see or hear whatever they allow you to. Like, I think, what's his name? Tucker being fired. And this whole, like, he's anti-Semitic. There's something more at play here, right? There's something going on. I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on that as well. But what I have heard is that, in a sense, I don't know what you want to call them, the elites, whatever, that they are trying to set the stage for the coming election, and getting rid of voices like Tucker is part of that. That's highly believable. I mean, that sounds completely rational from, that point of view. I actually feel sad for this child as I'm drawing it. It's kind of strange. This is something that horrifies me quite a lot. Anyway. I don't really. I mean, I think Tucker's fine as far as like what he means for the sort of average American, for the average conservative. We all know that he's not gonna play ball, meaning like he's not gonna call out Jewish power. He's not gonna do that. He recently. I don't know how recent it was, but there was something that I saw recently where he had this whole anti-white tirade about, how he doesn't care that whites would be replaced or some shit. And it was awful. It was god awful. I was like, if I were ever on the fence about him, now I fucking hate him. I was so mad and so offended. at what he was saying. It was disgusting. So I don't put my faith in people like that. Um, on the other hand, though, there's a side of me that says like we're the avant-garde. Really, we're the ones that are outside of the mainstream. We're like our even though we have the truth on our side and we know what's going on in reality, we're still living in a world of people who are brainwashed. And so to expect, like Tucker to be a race realist, for example, is an unrealistic expectation, Um, so I'm not gonna do that. Um, Simultaneously, like, how could you be so fucking insensitive and stupid? Like, this is my whole thing. Is like, there's some really, really stupid, smart people out there, and when I say that, I kind of mean that they're feigning stupidity. That they're like selectively stupid. So, for example, you've got Bill Maher interviewing Elon Musk, and he's saying, where did this woke mind virus come from? What, do you have any idea? Like, let's get into it. And and here we are, two like really important, wealthy, rich, celebrity, successful influencers, and we're on the cutting edge of culture and politics, and we're going to discuss where the woke mind virus came from. And then, Musk sort of scratches his chin and he tries to say something intelligent and he says a few things, and then the audience claps and, oh, we're so smart and we know what's going on. And I'm like, anybody with the fucking internet can look up the origins of these ideas. There's tons of content out there about the cultural Marxism, the Frankfurt School. This is just the repackaging of all those ideas. And so I'm like, I found out recently that Musk's mother is Jewish. Of course, Bill Maher's Jew, and so do the math. And it's like, I was recently told that like my tweets are shadow banned. And to the extent that if you see my tweet, there's like a little warning over it that says, like dangerous content or something, and you actually have to click on the little button to show my tweet. I maybe I was aware of that some time ago, but my buddy Jack White recently reminded me of that. So I'm like, I don't really care. I'm not. Well, maybe I do care a little bit, but I'm not really thinking that I'm going to use Twitter to like red pill a lot of people. Rather, I just want to be in the company of people like you guys in the chat. I want to be around intelligent people who know what's going on, and learn from you. So let's see if there's any kind of conversation going on here. Tristan is here. Welcome, Tristan. I'm just scrolling back into the convo. Wow, you guys are really talking about a lot of stuff here. Let's see what I can catch on to the conversation. Temple, I'm wearing a safari helmet. All right, you're going on safari. There does seem to be a wave of shakeups happening at the alt-light MAGA level of influencers and alt-media, correct? Who represents the bridge from the neocon establishment to us? That's a good question. Like, I mean, you're making I don't see a question mark here, but this is like a key. Is this an opportunity? Is there a way we can break in? I don't know. Tristan says insensitive was the right word without sensibility. Huh. Interesting way to put it. Do you know about Musk's grandfather, the technocracy movement? No, I would love to learn. I'll have to look that up. they've always got like a little family lineage, right? You know, they're not just like some Joe Schmo who, built something in his garage. Gives a spooky cachet, though the fact you have to click on it. Oh, that, yeah. I'm not intelligent. Don't call me that, please. Okay, I'll just call you modest. How about that? Hey. Um, so there you go. Oh, God. But on another level, I suppose, I'm kind of hitting. I'm not kind of. I'm definitely hitting. I don't even know what to call this. It's like I think I've reached my threshold in terms of like what I can kind of tolerate in terms of media consumption and like how bad things are going. I internalize things a lot. I'm a very very sensitive person, and that's not good. That's not good. Like I have a friend. He and I sort of send messages, memes, and shit like every day, pretty much. And I'll send him something, and he'll do like a laugh emoji, and that always annoys the shit out of me when he does that. Because I'm like, how the fuck can you laugh at this? This is a fucking nightmare. But that's how he copes. That's how he processes things. And now that I'm kind of hitting, I don't know what to call it, like overload or whatever, I'm beginning to see like, fuck, yeah, I need to have like, I gotta laugh at this or something. It's like, that's just not me. It's not my way per se, right? I just don't process things quite like that. Um, Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm going through. And hence here I am inking and hanging with you guys. So that's a good thing. And I'm going dancing in a few minutes. It is Saturday night, is it not? One of my buddies is a DJ in town. This is his big night. Looking forward to it. I haven't been going out as much as I used to, and so I got a big event coming up soon that's gonna stop me from going out for quite a while. So I want to kind of try to slip this in while I have the chance. But yeah, it feels like something's going down, like something behind closed doors or whatever. I mean, Fox is owned by Rupert Murdoch. It's just as Jewy as anything else. Like, they like the ratings. They can keep Tucker kind of in their pocket only so long, and he's kind of gone off the reservation, I think, in the past, since Biden stole the election. So I think they might be like, okay, that's enough. We've got another election to steal, in another year. So we're going to have to put a cap on this here. Oh, sexual harassment and anti-Semitism. You're fired. Like, oh, okay, that's how it works, guys. Um, what I'm hoping is that people are seeing through this, that somehow they're seeing like patterns, specifically about Jewish power, and I, getting suspicious, if you will, Um, DeSantis, what's this shit about like a free speech law in signed in Israel? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. How, things that you once believed were like, oh, this he's on our side. He's a conservative. Move to Florida, free speech, and he's getting going hard on Disney and blah blah blah. But yay, winning. Nope, no, it's just another fucking psyop. You know, they have all the exits covered. You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that to be blackpilling. I'm just saying it to be like, know this, know these things. I don't really, I don't know how to say this, but like the entire establishment is just total shit. So I never thought I'd be as much of a sort of a accelerationist. I wouldn't call myself an accelerationist. I don't, I want peace. I don't want fucking Civil War or World War III. I don't want any of that shit, But there is a side of you that's like, well, in order for something to happen, then it seems like this other thing needs to get out of the way. You know what I mean? So, I'm sort of wording that carefully. Don't worry, as long as I don't talk about COVID, we're fine. Anyway, let's see if you guys are having any more interesting conversation than what I'm talking about. Let's see. What do we got? Definitely look that up. It puts everything in perspective. Very much relate to the Black Pill overload. I've been chilling in Dave Martell's chat. Excellent. I need to hang out more on Dave Martell's shows. I used to do that more a lot lately. Yeah, Dave he's just such good energy. He's got a good heart. He's very, very strong, and like, man, he's just like just a big bear. Talk art, music, culture, yeah. And Dave's kind of anti-political now, I would say. Like, I don't know that he was ever really how political he was per se in the past, but nowadays it's just super arts, culture related. Noise, the going to a party thing. Oh yeah, noise. The laughing emoji all the time is vulgar. But it gets you in line. Did you all cried for Springer? Oh God, let's bring back our childhood's Jewish America. Yeah, right. Knowing we won't win, anti-Hun is an impediment to our going along with the flow of the big river. Anti-humanism is melancholic, massively, hugely. Yeah. Uh, I mean, I was just chatting with some pillar artist friends the other day. We had like a group phone call thing, and I was saying like, guys, like, because a lot of us are like, we need to chill out, we need to kind of focus on ourselves and that type stuff. And I was saying, don't feel guilty about that, because who we are, where we are, what we know. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme. It's like a crab that lives in the bottom of the ocean, and it says something like, this creature has learned to adapt to crushing pressures and extreme darkness. And then on the crab, it has just the word me, That's fucking true. It's not, it's funny, not funny. And that's what we are. We have like this crushing weight of truth on our hearts and our minds all the time. And it's like once you really see Jewish power, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's just like, and not being able to like stop it, and all this new like anti-Semitic law stuff where they're trying to intimidate people into not communicating or not spreading truth, etc., etc. It's tough. It's just things are really harsh. So there's a certain kind of level of take care of yourselfness here. It's got to happen. Yeah. This is I internalize this stuff too much, like way too much. And nobody knows that. You're not inside my mind. You're not, you don't like dream about this stuff like I do at night, where it terrorized me. It's very unhealthy. Uh, and I'm afraid that can manifest in some really serious health problems too. So it's something we've got to be cautious about. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way that looks, actually. Pretty cool. So in the beginning of this story, the bad guy shoots a laser satellite at this building, kills all the main characters, and this is pretty much almost the last page of the story, second last page, where you see that. So it's that kind of narrative device where you show the end in the beginning, and then you backtrack through the story and to that like key moment, and then that kicks off the whole story. Now, I've already started illustrating the second issue, and it's not physically handy at the moment. I could maybe I'll see if I can pull out those pages and show that to you. Yeah. Oh, this is the last page of this first issue. That's the other thing too, is I'm debating, should I just do the whole damn thing and put it out, or like do the whole graphic novel and then like crowdfund the coloring and all that, or should I put out every issue separately and crowdfund each time to get that done? I don't know. Anyway, so the bad guy just killed, where can you see it? The bad guy just killed MAGA Force, and he's talking to the kind of media mogul for Judeo-Christian news, and they're saying, okay, we made it look like an accident, we've killed them all. Do you have the new MAGA Force members lined up? And as you can see, I'll zoom in a bit, they're all like POCs almost. There's one white guy, and then you've got like a Chinese, like a Yemen, Pakistan, two, like a mulatto, African American, Hispanic, and like a Shibun, and like the MAGA force goes multicultural, and that implodes later. That gets totally exposed. I use these characters to expose race realism and stuff. So it gets pretty ugly as our hero comes back and realizes that his teammates were killed and replaced by these grifters. Like you look at, what's her face, Candace Owens. Like she's trying to do a show on Mark Dice and his wife, and I'm like, how irrelevant are you that you have to do a show on like someone's marital problems? Like, find something to say that's of any importance, Yeah, the pitch, Yemen, that is specific. Yeah, it is very specific, because when I was a high school teacher, middle high school teacher, the school had a very large population of students from Yemen. And I can't get into details, but there were people in this community that were prosecuted for terrorism. And it was like, national news and stuff. So like, I actually saw these people, I can't get into details and shit, but like, I'm very familiar with the Yemeni community and how, oh boy, how do I put this? how they work, how they operate, what they're here for, how, and just like how profoundly criminal they are, you know. Um, as a community, I just like no trust at all for them, and I know that's pretty strong and pretty harsh, and somebody would love to like discuss that with me or debate that with me. Hustling is not empathetic, yes, empathic. Anyway, so that's the end of issue 1. Yeah, these Muslims particularly are really happy to burn down churches in the story, and they're very anti-Christian. That's like a huge theme in this comic. So anyway, I got a whole bunch of new pages of the story. I mean, I don't know how well you can see them. I know that it's, you know, the lines are very light. That's because I'm gonna ink them later, and you know, I just need them. So I hope you guys can see this. But anyway, so here's a kind of a cabin scene, and the old man on the motorcycle. He rescued militiaman who's sort of unconscious here in this cabin. You can kind of see there's certain symbols on the cabin that the ADL doesn't like. So I like these kind of scenes that just sort of sets a new tone, a new mood. It's like, okay, there's no explosions, we're not in the city, we're in this kind of other environment. And then militiaman suddenly wakes up in that kind of like, surprise mode of like, oh shit, what just happened? You know, there was a huge explosion, and I went blank, and I don't remember what's up. And the old man's like, oh, you know, guten tag, good morning. He's reading his Bible. At this moment, militiaman realizes that all his friends were probably killed, and then he kind of jumps out of bed, like, who are you? What's going on? And the old man, you know, he's got his Bible here, his pipe, and he's just saying, like, you know, you're safe, you're fine, calm down, you know, your friends are dead. The Judeo-Christian news killed them. Like, that was a setup, you've been set up. You gotta kind of stay here with me to if you want to be safe. And so he tries to make him some coffee, and you know, militiaman, he's like a big time famous superhero, and he's like, yeah, I don't need any coffee. I need to get back to headquarters and find out what's going on. But he's injured, so he kind of has this moment here where he's in pain, and he sort of falls to the ground. He's probably got some broken ribs, and the old man comes over and uses his superpowers to heal him. So then you get a sense of like, oh, okay, the old dude there's something special about him. He's not just some old fart, you know. And then, you know, militiaman's like, whoa, how'd you do that? You just healed me. That was amazing. So then militiaman's like, you know, your old teammates, they're the good guys. They're coming to see you. And the old teammates are what is essentially, the news has called them a fash force. So you've heard of MAGA force. This is fash force. So like fascist force, you know, and that's meant to be a slur. Now, these were former MAGA force members who quit because they figured out what's going on. That Judeo-Christian news is a psyop, that it's a controlled opposition. They figured out, you know, Jewish hegemony, and they, you know, took off. So they're showing up, and militiaman is freaking out because he thinks they're all the, you know, Nazis, and they're the enemy. He's flipping them off, with, you know, giving them the bird. And, you know, the whole thing's kind of shocking to him, you know. And then the members are kind of trying to talk to him like, you know, we're not your enemies, you know, what's going on. And they're sort of, I don't know how to say, they're working with the old man. So then there's some kind of like debating going on between, this character's name is Westguard. He's like, He's just like a really cool, badass character there, you can see. So they're, you know, militiaman's like, you know, you're doing superhero work without a license. That's against the law. You know, he's got this very, you know, like conservatard kind of attitude. So he's like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm out of here. Blah blah blah. And Westguard, he's very much like Wolverine, like he's kind of a badass, and he's insulting. I don't know if I can get better light on this. It's really hard to show this to you, but he insults military man, militiaman, and so they start fighting. So then we get into a little superhero fight, and you know it's getting pretty rough. They can't stop him because he's super powerful. You know, he's kind of almost Superman level. If you could combine Superman and Captain America, it'd be something like what Militiaman is. However, Westguard is no chump either. He's pretty powerful, and he slams Militiaman down. So at this point, the old man is like, stop fighting. Stop. And as you can see, he shows pretty much his true form. He's essentially an angel. And he's got 6 wings, and he's explaining, you know, humanity is in peril, and a great demon is coming, and you guys have to come together to fulfill the prophecy, something. You know, Militiaman is like, what the fuck is going on? This is just too much. I'm out of here. And he takes off. He's like, so he wants to go see his wife because she's pregnant and wants to, you know, let her know that he's not dead. And so there's a whole human side to it. So then we change scenes, and if you look up the Bilderberg Hotel, you will see that this drawing is based on that hotel. So and there's lots of little Easter eggs in here for people if they're, you know, if they want to go deeper. And so it's the meeting of this, you know, the bad guys. They're drinking their blood wine, and the names of the characters at the table here are going to be all people from the Frankfurt School. So that should be interesting. And there you go. So that's what it is, and it is what it is, and now you know. But what I think I'm going to do here is probably wrap up the show. It's been about an hour. It's been really cool hanging with you guys. I appreciate your company and all that good stuff, and I will be doing some more shows as soon as I can. God bless you guys. You have a wonderful night.